I was going to the worst place in the world, and I didn't even know it yet. Weeks away and hundreds of miles up a river that snaked through the war like a main circuit cable, plugged straight into Kurtz.
If you are tired of the never-ending, foolish blockbusters hitting the theaters lately, you need to revisit a classic. Apocalypse Now is one of those rare films that perplexes your senses and festers in your mind for days to come. Directed by the man who brought The Godfather to the big screen, Francis Ford Coppola magnifies the tragedy of madness bred by war. The genius storytelling is seen through the gaze of one of the greatest lead characters in 20th century cinema. Captain Benjamin Willard, played by Martin Sheen, impatiently yet eager, awaits his return to battle in Vietnam. Falling into strange, dangerous habits in his boredom, he is finally called to arms by a set of military officers alongside a 3-star general. Accustomed to highly classified missions, he is shocked to hear that this command requires him to eliminate a highly decorated officer of the US military. The target, Colonel Kurtz, is labeled as a serious threat who's descended into utter madness in Cambodia. The nerves can be felt right through the screen as the officer delivers this unprecedented news. Just as Captain Willard questions the truth of these claims to himself, we too find ourselves compelled to ponder them. Preferring to travel alone, his methods are muddled by his company of rowdy young recruits set sail along the Mekong River. The pilot and captain of the boat goes by the name of Chief, and he is a focused, stoic leader and goes by the book of order for every choice he makes. Chef is an aspiring saucier that carelessly smokes his worries away, often detracting the focuses of the group. Lance, a famous Californian surfer, solely delights in his half-witted imagination, which consumes most of his attention on the boat. Lastly, Clean is a 17-year-old boy, eagerly awaiting action while fighting his boredom entertaining his musical senses. Despite the crew's initial immaturity, they quickly undergo scarring trials that test their morality, which serve to break down each character's constitution one by one. As the crew made regular stops along their voyage upon the river, the audience is guided through a plethora of unexpected horrors of war. One of these stops I continue to revisit my memory for stands out above the rest. In a mesmerizing scene, an outpost blazing in flame is absolutely ridden with madness. As Captain Willard and Lance search for a commanding officer, they unravel a mass hysteria that has consumed the entire platoon. Void of command and direction, the horrified men were driven to their most primal state for survival. Now, every stop that the crew makes along the river gives us a vivid portrayal of the psychological and physical breakdown of man. What perfectly breaks up these high-tension situations is the internal monologue we hear from Captain Willard. To pass the time on his long trek to Cambodia, Willard studies his target's records. Reading every bit of material he has on him, he grows conflicted on what his future intentions will be once he reaches Colonel Kurtz. Martin Sheen delivers echoing inner monologue, which pieces together his interpretations of the many conflicts that developed along his discovery. Through this long, strenuous ride to reach Cambodia, the crew encounter unimaginable loss along this voyage. When they finally reach their destination, Willard and his crew are shocked to see the farthest display of primal madness at the end of the road. How will these men adapt to this conflict that they have never been trained to see? Will Willard follow through with his mission after all? You'll just have to see the movie yourself to figure that out. Apocalypse Now is titled as an epic war film, however, it takes a very different approach to explore the war of the mind and conscience. When considering inappropriate content, there are a few adult scenes that you'll want to skip, and there's a really disturbing cow sacrifice towards the end that you'll want to avoid. Disturbingly enough, it was a real scene, no effects at all, so I was disappointed to hear that. I really don't think that was cool. And even more shockingly, real dead bodies were also used in the final scenes of the film. It goes to show you just how different the filming landscape was back in the 1970s. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to share, like the video, and subscribe to my channel to ensure the revival of quality films and awareness for such. Now, what are your thoughts on Apocalypse Now? Do you think it's as amazing as it's perceived to be? Let's talk in the comments below. As always though, I appreciate your time spent with me. I wish you well, and I'll see you soon.